Have you ever seen a bird
that can kick a snake to death?
Not peck it, not claw it,
But kick it.
like a martial arts master? Meet one of the strangest and most powerful birds living in the wild grasslands of Io.
At first glance, this bird looks almost funny. It has very long legs, like a runway model,
A sharp eagle-like face.
and black feathers behind its head that look like messy hair sticking up.
Some people even say it looks like a bird wearing black shorts.
But don't let the funny look fool you.
This tall hunter can grow almost 4 feet tall, about the height of a small child.
And when it walks through the tall grass, every small animal nearby becomes very nervous. Because this bird is not just walking, it's hunting, unlike most birds of prey that hunt from the sky.
The secretary bird prefers to hunt on the ground.
It walks for miles across the hot African grasslands, slowly searching the bushes. Sometimes it can walk 20 miles in one day, just looking for food.
And when it finally sees movement in the grass,
Everything changes. Its eyes lock on the target. Its body becomes still.
and then
Boom! A lightning-fast kick shoots down toward the ground. The strike happens in less than a few milliseconds. Scientists say the kick can hit with a force 5 times the bird's own body weight. That is strong enough to crack bones.
and even break a tortoise shell. But the creature that fears this bird the most
Is the snake? The secretary bird's scientific name is Sagittarius serpentarius, which means archer of snakes. And trust me, they truly live up to that name. For snakes in the African grasslands, running into this bird is usually the worst day of their life. Because once the secretary bird decides you are lunch, the fight is already over. And what happens next is something most snakes never survive. The moment a snake is spotted in the grass, it becomes incredibly focused. It slowly spreads its huge wings, not to fly,
but to look bigger and more threatening,
those wings can stretch almost 2 meters wide.
which is wider than a tall man's arms.
To the snake, the bird suddenly looks like a giant moving wall of feathers. The snake becomes confused.
Should it strike?
Should it run? That moment of confusion is exactly what the bird is waiting for.
Then suddenly,
Stomp!
one powerful kick slams down toward the snake's head.
If the snake tries to strike back, the bird simply jumps away and kicks again, and again, and again. The bird's legs move incredibly fast, almost like a soccer player dribbling a ball. Their tough, scaly legs also act like natural armor, making it very hard for a snake's fangs to bite through. Even if the snake manages to strike, most bites only hit thick feathers instead of skin.
So the snake keeps striking.
And the bird keeps kicking. But eventually, the snake starts slowing down.
Its movements become weaker.
And then, with one final powerful stomp, the fight is over. The bird carefully grabs the snake with its sharp beak. And instead of tearing it apart, it does something surprising. It simply swallows the snake whole.
Yes, just like the secretary bird gulps its food down in one long piece. The snake slowly disappears down the bird's throat like a long noodle.
It may look strange, but for the secretary bird, it's just another normal lunch. And snakes are not the only animals that need to worry.
Because if food is hard to find,
This tall hunter will happily chase anything that moves. And the next animals on the menu might surprise you.
snakes may be the favorite meal of the but they are not the only food on the menu.
These hunters are not picky at all. If something small moves in the grass, there is a good chance it might become lunch. For example, tiny hiding in the grass are a very easy snack. When the bird hears a small rustling sound, it quickly rushes over and stomps the ground. The mouse barely has time to react. One fast kick, and the hunt is finished. But mice are only the beginning. Secretary birds also eat grasshoppers, insects, and even small birds. If they see a running through the grass,
They will chase it with their long legs. And remember, these birds are excellent runners.
those long legs help them move very fast across the ground. A rabbit might be quick,
But against a powerful kick that can break bones, it often doesn't stand a chance.
sometimes 2 secretary birds may even find the same meal at the same time. And guess what? They do not like sharing. If 2 birds catch the same rabbit or snake,
They may start arguing and pushing each other. They flap their wings.
they kick. They chase each other around, all because both of them want the food.
Even though these birds sometimes hunt near each other, they usually prefer to eat alone. But there is one animal that even these fearless birds must watch carefully.
A snake that is very famous for its deadly venom.
The terrifying,
And when these 2 animals meet in the wild, it becomes one of the most intense battles in nature. Now imagine this moment.
Atoll is walking slowly through the dry grasslands of
Suddenly, the grass begins to move. Out from the bushes rises one of the most feared snakes in the world. The cobra lifts the front of its body high into the air. Its hood spreads wide. It begins to hiss loudly.
This snake is extremely dangerous. One bite from its venom can kill many animals.
Most creatures would run away immediately.
But the secretary bird does not run.
Instead, It slowly spreads its wings and begins stepping around the cobra.
The cobra strikes, but the bird quickly jumps backward, avoiding the attack. Then comes the counterattack.
Kick!
The bird slams its foot toward the snake's head.
The cobra tries again. Another strike.
But again, the bird dodges. Then comes another powerful stomp.
And another.
The bird keeps jumping and kicking, moving faster than the snake can react.
Its long legs give it speed and distance, making it very difficult for the cobra to land a bite.
Sometimes something even more unfair happens for the snake.
Another secretary bird arrives. Now it becomes 2 birds against 1 snake.
One bird distracts the cobra.
The other moves behind it, and with several fast kicks to the head, the cobra slowly becomes weaker. Finally, the giant snake collapses in the grass.
For the secretary bird, it's just another successful hunt. But the amazing thing is that these birds are not just powerful hunters.
They also have surprisingly strong family bonds. Because when a male and female secretary bird fall in love,
they usually stay together for their entire lives. And what they do next is just as fascinating as their hunting skills.
When 2 decide to become partners, something beautiful happens.
Unlike many animals, these birds usually mate for life. That means once they choose a partner, they often stay together for many years. But first, they must impress each other.
The male bird begins a special courtship dance.
He spreads his huge wings and jumps into the air.
Then he glides down gracefully across the grass. Sometimes the female joins him,
and the 2 birds run side by side,
flapping their wings like they are celebrating together. When the pair finally decides to stay together, they start building a large nest. Instead of building it on the ground, they usually choose a tall tree in the African savanna. Often using sticks, grass, and leaves, they carefully create a strong nest high above the ground.
And here is something interesting. They reuse the same nest every year.
Each year they simply add more sticks and grass to make it bigger and stronger. Soon, the female lays 2 or 3 eggs. The eggs are pale and spotted, carefully protected inside the nest. Both parents take turns guarding the nest and bringing food. While one bird hunts for snakes, mice, or lizards, the other stays close to protect the babies. After several weeks, the eggs begin to hatch. Tiny fluffy chicks appear.
At first, the baby birds are weak and helpless.
But their parents work very hard, bringing food again and again. Slowly, the chicks grow bigger. Their long legs begin to stretch. Their feathers start to grow. And after a few months, the young secretary birds are finally ready to leave the nest and
explore the giant grasslands on their own.
But life in the wild is never easy, because even a powerful hunter like the secretary bird faces many dangers in the modern world. Even though he is a powerful hunter, life is becoming harder for these amazing birds.
Many years ago, the wide grasslands were full of space for them to walk and hunt.
But today, things are changing. More land is being used for farms, roads, and cities. Because of this, the places where secretary birds live are slowly disappearing. When their hunting grounds shrink, it becomes harder for them to find enough food. Sadly, because of these changes, scientists now list the secretary bird as endangered.
That means the number of these birds in the wild is getting smaller. But there is good news too. Many wildlife organizations and nature
parks are now
working hard to protect these incredible birds.
In some areas, farmers even welcome secretary birds.
Why? Because these birds are excellent pest hunters.
They help control snakes, rats, and other animals that might damage farms. Some people in rural villages have even trained
secretary birds to stay near their homes to help keep snakes away.
It turns out these birds are very intelligent and can learn quickly.
So, while they look funny with their long legs and messy head feathers, they are actually very useful neighbors.
And scientists continue to study them to understand how such a strange bird became one of the most unique hunters on Earth. Because when you really think about it, there is no other bird quite like the secretary bird. A bird that walks like a crane,
hunts like a warrior,
and kicks like a martial arts master. But before we finish,
there are a few incredible facts about
these birds that most people have never heard before. And one of them might completely change how you see this strange hunter forever.
First, they are the only birds of prey in the world that kill their prey by stomping.
Other birds, like hawks or eagles, usually use their talons or beaks.
But these tall hunters use their legs as deadly weapons,
striking with incredible speed and precision.
Second, their legs are covered in thick scales, almost like armor.
This protects them from snake bites and allows them to take on even the most dangerous prey,
like cobras.
Third, these birds are not strong flyers. They prefer to walk,
But when they do fly, they take off in a dramatic, almost runway-like motion, with their legs sticking straight out behind them, and soar gracefully across the sky. Fourth, despite their fierce hunting skills, they are monogamous. Once they find a mate, they stay together for life, returning to the same nest year after year. They are truly a mix of beauty, intelligence, and raw power. Finally, their name, secretary bird, has an interesting origin.
Some people think it comes from the long feathers on their head,
which look like old-time secretaries with quill pens behind their ears.
Others say it comes from the Arabic word sakr et ter, meaning hunter bird.
Either way,
the name perfectly captures their strange yet impressive appearance. So next time you think of birds as small, harmless creatures, remember a ground-walking predator, a snake-kicking master, and one of the most fascinating birds alive in 2026.
From stalking the grasslands to kicking deadly snakes, these birds prove that looks can be deceiving.
They may look funny, but in reality, they are nature's ultimate hunters.